Welcome to All Things Woman, where we discuss femininity, womanhood, and I give you overall life advice. If any of that interests you, hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Jealous, envious women will always try to humble you in some way. Jealous, envious, insecure women will always seek to, quote, bring you down a notch. When a woman is jealous and envious of you, she does not want to see you being comfortable, being confident. She does not want you to be comfortable being seen because she is not comfortable being seen. A jealous, envious woman will always try to step on your reality. A jealous, envious woman, she does not want to see you being great. She does not want to see you getting attention. She does not want to see you feeling good about yourself. And because of that, jealous, envious women and jealous, envious men alike will always seek to humble a confident woman. Jealous people, jealous women, they like to make sure that you feel the uneasiness that they feel when they're around you. They want to make sure that you feel the tension, the negative energy, if you will, that they're putting out into the world. They want you to be so uncomfortable in your skin that you allow them to get underneath your skin. And that's the one thing that we cannot do. Jealous, envious women will always see your personality as too much. They will see your demeanor as too much. They will see your intellect as too much. They will see you as too much. And it's simply because they don't feel good about themselves and they see themselves as less than. And as a confident, feminine woman, you have to be able to still stand in the presence of such insecurity. When somebody's trying to dim your light, when somebody wants you to, succumb to the surroundings, meaning if you're in a surrounding where, people might be more pessimistic, but you're a little bit more optimistic. Jealous, envious women do not like to see optimistic women. They do not like to see women that don't allow the circumstances or the environment to dictate their mood. When you are the type of woman who knows how to regulate her own emotions, meaning you're not controlled by how other people feel or about what's going on around you, jealous, envious women will not like that. They are very emotionally unintelligent, meaning they allow the environment to dictate their emotions. And when a woman is confident and comfortable with herself, she doesn't care what's going on around her. She can still be happy. She can still smile. She can still look good, feel good, act good. She can still do all of those things because she doesn't give other people control over her mood. Now, I'm not saying that other people don't have the ability to upset you or irritate you. We are human. But jealous, envious women, they very much want you to be the kind of woman whose emotions are all over the place, that they can say something and now you're feeling like shattered on the inside. They can look a certain way and now you feel less confident than what you were before. Jealous, envious women, they want to inflict their misery onto you. And when you don't let them do that, you become problematic. Jealous, envious women, they don't know how to let other women be great. And it's because they get very insecure in the presence of a woman who's living the best life she knows how. If you are the type of woman who sees opportunity wherever you go and you do things not because everybody else is doing it, but you do the things that make you happy and do the things that make you feel good, despite how unpopular it might be, a jealous, envious woman will always want you to second guess and doubt what you're doing simply because you're not following the crowd. See, confident feminine women, women who desire to level up in some way, we are not followers. And jealous, envious women, they hate that about you. They want you to be a follower. They want you to be the kind of woman who is easily led astray. And when you're not like that, when you pick apart the foolishness and you see how somebody's trying to distract you and sour your mood and you fight against it, they will not like you. Jealous, envious women, very much so, have a crabs in a barrel mentality. They have the kind of mentality that says, okay, she's acting this way, so I'm going to feed off of her energy and I'm going to start acting that way. But a confident, leveled up woman, a woman who is in control of her own life, she does not allow other people to dictate her moves, her mood, or her attitude, and they will not like that about you. Good morning, lovely doll. Good morning. Lily, love your content. I appreciate you being here. Lakeisha Dunlap, hi, welcome to the channel. Fax, Big Willow, welcome. Good morning. Good morning, Kayla. Lotus Heart, so much for the feminist movement. So much for the feminist movement indeed. But yes, jealous, envious women, they will always seek to humble you in some way. This is not just women. Men are like this too. And we've discussed about how jealous, envious men above Ruby's TV. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning. Happy March, everybody. We are marching into March. This is Women's Month. So happy Women's Month. We should acknowledge that. We should be proud of the accomplishments and the way women have leveled up in the world. However, on this channel, we are not appreciating it in the way that society is appreciating it, as in women, we're able to do all, be all, conquer all. That's exhausting. We still very much can acknowledge what women have accomplished while being in our femininity, being more rested, and not allowing people to work us to death. So happy Women's Month in that regard. But jealous, envious women, and I would like to try to stay on point with this live a little bit. Jealous, envious women, they want to humble you, and they might do that in a way of bringing up your past. Jealous, envious women, they know how to dig so deep into the closets of people they don't know simply because they are so insecure within themselves. Social media currency, good morning. Welcome back. Good morning. Jealous, envious women, they are like secret agents digging into the past histories of the people that they do not like and the people whom they are threatened by. A person, if you want somebody to know something about you, it will always be your biggest hater. They will have the most so-called tea. They will know your past history. If you need an ancestry report done, look to your hater, because they will normally be the ones who are watching you the closest. Jealous, envious people are always looking for a way to justify the reason why you are not as great as they think you are. And I say they think you are because only a person who has an obsession with another person, who is in some kind of twisted admiration of another person, will waste their time and energy digging into the past history of another person. You have people like that simply with the invention of social media. You have people, and I know for a fact, there are people who will scroll Facebook pages, Instagram pages, TikTok accounts, looking for clues as into how they can make someone look bad or make them not look as great as everybody else perceives them to be. And it's simply because they're jealous and envious of the person's present life. So they have to dig into their past to try to find something to make them look less than what they look right now. Jealous, envious people are very wicked in that way. Jealous, envious people are very petty and pitiful in that way. Anytime a woman takes time out of her day to do research into another woman's life simply because she doesn't like her, that is a jealous, envious spirit. That is a jealous, negative, energy draining woman that a lot of times women like that, and it's a little bit of a sidebar, they wonder why men don't want to be bothered with them. It's because a lot of times they don't know how to be women. They don't know how to just shoot the breeze, relax, be easy. They have to always dig into something or somebody in order to make them feel good about themselves. That is a jealous, miserable, envious, toxic spirit. And as confident feminine women, we do not allow those type of people to come near us, and we don't allow those kind of people to get, in our psyche, get under our skin, to get into our emotions, because that's exactly what they want to do. S. Smith, good morning. Welcome back. I agree. It is especially difficult for empathetic individuals such as myself. When I was younger, I would be deeply hurt and disappointed by jealous individuals. You are not by yourself, S. Smith, because I used to be an overly empathetic person too, where you can kind of feel what everybody else feels and you can automatically feel that tension. You can tell if somebody really doesn't like you and then it started making you feel some kind of way. I used to deal with that too when I was younger. And let me point this out. Being empathetic is a wonderful trait to have, especially as a feminine woman. You should always have empathy for another person. But it gets dangerous when somebody is trying to make you feel something that is going to make you feel bad about yourself. And jealous, envious people, they are masters at playing on, the empath's emotions. They know they can like feel and sense that sweetness, that kindness, that gentleness in other women, especially jealous, envious women with bully energy. They can sense that sweetness, that calmness, that gentleness, that femininity in a woman, and they try to play on that. So when you know that you're an empathetic woman, that your emotions kind of run high and that you feel so much of what other people feel, when you absorb jealous, negative energy from somebody, that's something you have to refuse. That's something you have to look at as that's a them problem. That's not a you problem. You will still feel it. And I think that's just our God given emotions. But you have to understand that what they're trying to make you feel is not right. They are being negative. They're being bullies. They're being energy draining women. And you cannot take that in. So I completely understand being an empath because I used to be the same way. I still am an empath to an extent, not as much as I used to be, because I would find myself not just dealing with jealousy and envy, but I would find myself feeling more for people's situations than what they did. My empathy was like going overboard to where there was no boundary. And that was hurting myself. I was hurting myself. So I had to learn how to scale back my empathy and learn to say, you know what, I care, but I can't care more than them. And if they're trying to make me feel something that is going to be harmful to me, I don't care about their feelings. That's really where you have to put your big girl pants on and say, I don't give a darn about their feelings. Their feelings are irrelevant when it comes to how I feel about myself. You understand? Bleak, hey, good morning. Contessa, so true. Good morning. Amber_C, hi, good morning. Welcome. Above Ruby's TV, 100%. The weird coworker that mentioned last time is getting weirder. This girl stopped speaking to me, but came to an office-wide meeting and sat directly next to me with so many open seats. I don't know why. Women who have that weird kind of toxic energy where, once again, they're trying to make you feel something. That's the reason why she would come sit directly next to you instead of, she wants her it's not microaggression, but it's passive aggressiveness. When a woman is trying to make you feel something or trying to get you to understand that she doesn't like you or she has an issue with you, she will often use passive aggressive behaviors such as never speaking to you and yet coming to sit next to you during an event. That is a passive aggressive behavior that a lot of jealous women, a lot of toxic women, and people in general tend to do. They try to get into your space because, once again, they're trying to make you feel something and you have to sit there and not care. Santana 505. How do you deal with the sister who apologizes when she shows signs of mistreatment and envy, but she keeps on doing the same thing and not changing her actions? Well, if somebody is saying sorry or they're apologizing, but their actions are not changing, they're just saying words. Like change is action. So if the person is not changing their actions and is still bothering you, my go-to will always be to distance yourself from that person. People can say anything, but it's their actions that speak louder. So you really have to distance yourself, even though that's your sister. Maybe not hang around her as much. Maybe take more phone calls and not too many in-person meetings. That's what I would do. But you can't consistently deal with a person who says they're sorry, but continues to do the same thing. They're not really sorry. They're just sorry that this is, bothering you in the moment, but they're not sorry enough to change. I wouldn't be bothered with them. That's just me. Mrs. Sheila, World of Fun Inspiration. Good morning. Good morning. S. Smith, as a mature woman, I've learned to protect myself. Absolutely. There's nothing more than going through situations. And as you mature as a woman and you realize that your time is valuable, your life is valuable, your time is precious, and you don't want to spend it wasting time with people with toxic, jealous, negative energy. You don't want to be around people who are always trying to nitpick at you and just say and do little things, trying to make you feel some kind of way. Who has time for that? AW, you have to be careful of jealous people because they will try to harm you, just like the young lady that got acid thrown on her because her friends were jealous of her. Absolutely. And if you sense that somebody is jealous and envious of you, you should remove yourself immediately if you can. I'm not saying a coworker in the workplace, you're going to have haters everywhere, especially if you're a well-rounded, wonderful woman, and especially if you look good. Unfortunately, and when people, especially women, they want to attack another woman's face, throwing acid. This is not the first time I've heard about acid attacks. When somebody deliberately wants to attack you and destroy your face, that tells you that they are jealous of how you look. They're jealous of how you present. And because of that, they wanted to do something to so-called, as I said initially, humble you. A jealous, envious woman, normally they will go the petty route and start with your looks. They want to make you feel, self-conscious, or like you said, they will even resort to physical, harm and try to destroy your looks or your life in some way. When a jealous, envious woman wants to humble you, she doesn't want you to feel resilient. She doesn't want you to feel strong. She doesn't want you to look good. And she definitely doesn't want you to feel good about how you look. A jealous, envious woman will always try to take hit at your looks, even if you might perceive her as looking better than you. Like a lot of the women who get jealousy and envy, oftentimes women like that are not really, looking at other people and thinking that, you're so much, you're such a big deal. It's to the haters that you're a big deal. You might not even think of yourself in that way, but the whole time they're plotting against you because they're jealous. Above Ruby's TV. Yep, I packed my stuff and left her after a few minutes. Be weird by yourself. Absolutely. There is no shame in walking away. Once you reach past the age of your teen years, there is no reason why you have to sit in a crowd of wolves and tolerate their toxic behavior. Forget what it looks like, because that is nothing more than pride. And there's a place for healthy pride, but then there's a place to protect yourself. As grown women, we don't have anything to prove, which means if the energy doesn't feel right, I'm leaving if I can. Simple as that. I think too many women operate in that masculine mode where they feel like they have something to prove. I got to prove how tough I am. I got to prove that I can take it. I'm not letting them run me out of here and all this other stuff. As I've said in previous videos, the only place that kind of mentality kind of should apply is at your job. And that even goes to a certain extent. And I say your place of employment or your business because it's attached to money. So in that regard, you might deal with the hater for a little bit. You might deal with jealous women, their little toxic energy sometimes, because you're in the workplace. You have to get your money. It's your livelihood for many women. You have to deal. But anything other than that, you do not, and I repeat, you absolutely do not have to deal with jealous, toxic, negative energy. I don't care if it's family functions. I don't care if it's school board meetings. I don't care if it's doctor offices. I don't care if it's the hospital. You don't have to deal with anybody's toxic, negative energy. A lot of women have been programmed to believe, and I was once guilty of this as well. We were programmed to believe that we have to deal with a lot more than what we actually do. We were always told that we have to endure everything. And from a spiritual perspective, I understand in the world you have to endure some things, but a lot of us are enduring things that God doesn't even expect for us to endure. If somebody is bringing you harm, if somebody is challenging your mental, you don't have to deal with them. And even in the workplace, you might not be able to get up and go just like that, but you can seek other opportunities. You can seek other employment so that you can set yourself up to have something better in the future. You are never stuck. As long as you have breath in your body, you don't have to do anything. As my old business tech teacher said, only thing I have to do is stay black and no longer be here. So a lot of women, you have to understand you have more control over your life than what you understand. Kimberly Rice, good morning. It's my mother, Deb. Hey, good morning. Thank you. That's good advice. You are so welcome, Santana 505. LaJune Norton, this is so true. Why I stay away and prayed up because they are demons. Yes, I believe in that too. Absolutely. Lovely Dow, this behavior is notorious in the workplace. When I was younger, I thought I worked with mature adults. I didn't know I was working into an episode of the real world. Absolutely. Some workplaces are nothing more than like college campuses, not even college sometimes high school daycares. Sometimes these workplaces are like daycares where the adults are acting more like children and less like adults. They're interacting with one another in such unprofessional ways where they're crossing all kind of boundaries, and then you have this confusion floating around where now people thinking they're so close to you where they can start mistreating and mishandling you. And I'm not saying that you can't be friends with your coworkers or that you can't, at least be cordial with your coworkers, but when it gets to a point where people are starting to disrespect you blatantly, where they're acting more like they have that kind of carte blanche to say what they want to say, that's when it's like, no, you have to redirect them, course correct them, and set that boundary. Like, you're not going to talk to me like I'm a child. Like, this is not high school. And you have some corporate environments, some, well-paying jobs, well-paying positions where the people are absolutely childish. And it's because boundaries were not put in place. Daphne Law, I am very beautiful and smart young woman. I have had terrible experiences with both men and women. For so long, I thought there was something wrong with me. Your content helps me feel understood. I am so happy, Daphne Law, that you are feeling understood and that you're understanding that, and this is another thing, because I noticed you said, I am a very beautiful and smart young woman. The fact that you can acknowledge that openly, that is wonderful. You know why I say that? Because many of us are taught that it is wrong to feel good about ourselves. You just saying that, and I'm making this example, some people, especially jealous, envious women who seek to humble you, they will come at you and act like you said something wrong simply because you acknowledged yourself as lovely and beautiful. See, jealous, envious people, they would take issue with that comment alone. When you acknowledge how you feel about you, jealous, envious people will not like that. And Daphne Law, I guarantee you, if you were carrying that same kind of confident energy, especially with men, that's the reason why they have problems with you. See, people are accustomed to overly humble, struggle bus type of women. And when I say struggle bus, I don't mean that you're in it and, everybody goes through things. I mean the mentality. They're used to women saying, well, I'm okay. I'm nothing to write home about. I'm okay. I'm doing the best I can. I'm just trying to get by, just trying to make it. But when you talk like you're the woman that's like, no, I've been working really hard and I worked on my skin. My skin is clear because I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. I look beautiful. I love how I look now. When you speak that way to a jealous, envious person, they're always going to try to humble you and say, oh, you didn't have to say it like that. Why not? That's how I feel about me. So I just have to say that. So Daphne Law, thank you so much for acknowledging your own beauty and not being uncomfortable doing that. And when you move that way, people will be jealous of you. And I'm so happy that you're getting value out this content, because I want women to understand that, while we're not seeking to make people jealous or envious, if being a confident woman, if understanding that, even if you're a spiritual woman, if you know what God is doing in your life and you're happy about that and you're operating in faith, you're operating in confidence, you just feel good. Don't let anybody dumb you down or try to stop you, because you have some people, they say be humble, but actually it's them being insecure. And then it's like, who gave you the right? Who are you? So that kind of thing I just don't like. So yeah, let me look at some of your comments. Miss C, masculine women hate feminine women. That's why I rock by myself. Absolutely. I've noticed that too. Not all masculine women, that goes without saying, but normally women who are a lot more masculine, overly aggressive, they don't know how to smile. They don't know how to take it easy. They just don't, they always got a lot of pent up hostility. They always got something wrong with them. And I'm not saying that any of us, all of us have our bad days. All of us have our good days. There are some days you might see me where my face is balled up because I'm tired or whatever. I'm talking about the personality trait of a woman is always pent up with so much hostility and tension where she just doesn't know how to take it easy. She can't relax or smile to save her life. Those kind of women tend to be a lot more masculine, and they get upset when they see this free flowy kind of, woman who's, just being, she's smiling. She might be going through something, but she's smiling. She's making the best of her situation. She's enjoying her life. If her situation is great, she's enjoying her life, enjoying her family, enjoying her marriage. A overly masculine woman who just doesn't have any reason to smile, she thinks, will take issue with you. She will be jealous simply because you're a little too happy for her. And I know that sounds very weird, but you have women who are like that. They see a woman who is a little bit too happy and they want to come along and rain on your parade. I speak about that in my book, Girl on Girl Wars, Jealousy and Envy Amongst Women. And I have told, I think, a story before about how my daughter, she was just floating around singing in her music class. And while these are teenagers, you have some women who still very much so have that teenage mentality, that teenage mindset where they see a woman a little bit too happy. There they go sitting over there with their face balled up, looking at you like you doing something wrong simply for smiling. You have women who are like that. Ignore that negative energy. Bleak, my managed CEO was a narc. Yes, I was severely bullied at my last job. Kimberly Rice, my mother lived with me but will not give me money for anything. She have her grandson handling her money and she tell him not to give me nothing. Well, it sounds like your mom needs to start looking for her own place. And I don't say that to be, just blunt, but I have to be blunt. It sounds like if she doesn't want to give you anything or contribute anything, and she's trying to, have her grandson not give you anything, that's disrespectful. So that's definitely something, at least a conversation needs to be had, or, you need to talk to her about possibly looking for other arrangements because that's not fair. I understand we take care of our parents and all of that, but when somebody's telling somebody else not to give you help or give you money, it's something a little deeper there. Nikki Notes, welcome. Yes, and say things like nobody is better than anybody. Girl, I'm in my own lane. It's no competition. Absolutely. When jealous people speak in regards, like in comparison mode, when they say things like, nobody's better than anybody. You might not have said anybody's better than anybody, but because they perceive your confidence as being better than them, or your unbotheredness, meaning you're not worrying about what they're talking about. You don't care what they're saying. You don't care about their negative energy. You're still floating free, being happy. They will always say things. I've heard this before. Nobody's better than anybody else. Okay. Does that mean that I can't be happy in my situation? Does that mean I can't be happy with the job opportunity I just got? Does that mean I can't be happy with my new outfit on? Does that mean I can't be happy because, of whatever? You have some people, they're very insecure where they always have to say things like, nobody's better than nobody else. Don't forget where you came from. Bring up your past history. Jealous, insecure people, they just operate on that kind of low kind of way of thinking. And it's obvious that nobody's better than anybody, in humanity. But that's not the point. Jealous, envious people don't know how to let other people be great. Let them have their moments. Some of you ladies, when it comes to friends and family, if you're around people who do not let you have your moments, they always swoop in with some kind of negativity and try to bring you down a notch in your moment of being happy, of being joyous, of just feeling good. That is not your friend, and that is not a real family member, because jealous, envious people, once again, they always want to humble you and bring you down a notch. A person who really cares about you, cares about your happiness, who likes to see you happy and upbeat, they want you to enjoy your moment. I'm not saying jokingly saying about, okay, you're doing too much, whatever. I'm not saying that kind of thing. I mean, people who every time they see you happy, they have to come rain on your parade in some way. I cannot stand people like that. You say you're starting a business, they automatically tell you about the economy. I'm well aware of the economy. I'm well aware of what's happening in the world. I'm well aware of all these different things. And yet I will continue because I'm happy about this. I feel good about this. Why are you feeding me all this negativity? And let me tell you how some people, their jealousy because of how you are compared to some of their family or some of their people. I had a family member. I'm not going to say exactly what what role, but I had a family member, and I'll never forget this. I was pregnant with my son, and I was at the stove. I was boiling something. I don't know if I was making like soup or something on the stove. I turned the burner on and it just kept clicking, and the light wasn't coming on. Mind you, I am 7 or 8 months pregnant with my son, and I'm at my father's house. And I turned on the burner to make something, just kept clicking, but it wasn't coming on. And this person said to me, "Yeah, my, you better be careful." What did she say? She said, "Yeah, you know those things blow up in people's faces and stuff like that sometimes." Say, "Yeah, you better watch it. These things blow up in people's faces." And I'm like, "Okay." She said, no, she said something else. It was something along those lines. I forget exactly. My son is going on 20 years old. So it's been a very long time. But the point that I'm making, if I am 8 months pregnant, standing at the stove, why would you feel like that's a good time to tell me about how burners blow up in people's faces? Like, do you want to see that happen to me? Why are you telling me this? Instead of coming to help me, you just let me keep clicking, hoping that the thing would blow up in my face. Like, it was very weird energy. And that's not the first time I felt that from that person. So that's why I'm bringing it up. It's just some of the things they say, it's like they don't even understand how much they're showing their disdain for you by some of the weird things that they say. I hope that makes sense. I forget exactly what it was, but you can be Lotus Heart. I had an experience where a neighbor told me, "I think I'm better." I responded, "No, you think I'm better." She was surprised and walked away. Absolutely. Like, I don't get that kind of thing. You know, if you carry yourself with class, if you carry yourself with dignity and respect, if you are quiet and don't engage in foolish talking, foolish behaviors, they'll think you're better for anything. They'll think you think you're better than them for anything. And that is just a jealous woman's playbook. That's just kind of things they say. Men alike, you know. K Amen. Good morning. Welcome. I've tried to ignore these types of women. They never stop. They still sit down at the table I'm at, try to befriend people who know me, still publicly try to insult me. They're just relentless. That's unfortunate, K. Amen. I mean, I'm hoping that you can somehow change that situation or limit your interaction with them. Mega Just Me 09. Good morning. Good morning. My mom, K, amen. My mom won't allow me to have a moment. Anyone who compliments me or if something good happens, she immediately downs it or says something derogatory apart from me if others say I'm pretty and a nice girl. I can't stand that. And I don't understand it coming from a mother. As a mother, you would want to see your child thriving. You should be proud that, you know, other people admire your child or they think they're smart, they think they're beautiful, whatever it is. So I really don't understand that from a mother. The only thing I can think of is that when a mother sees her child at your age getting the kind of attention that she never got, she might be a little bit jealous of that because even our mothers, even our parents, you know, they're still just people. They are somebody's child too. And they had those moments where maybe they didn't get that kind of interaction. Nobody paid them any mind. Maybe they were a problem child. Maybe they didn't warrant that kind of response from other people to compliment them. And you're getting it. And to some women, I guess even mothers, they can feel threatened by that. Like, who are you? But the way I see it, like you came from me, like my child is an extension of me. So if you look good, that means I look good as a parent. So I truly don't understand. And it's unfortunate. Queen Rena, goddess of love and good vibes only. Envy and jealous people are part of devil's kingdom. Envy, devil, love, God can't be in the same body. Boundaries with evil. I understand exactly what you're saying, and the emotion of jealousy and envy, that's something that everybody can feel, but to operate in that mode and to just be that kind of person is absolutely evil in my book as well. Good morning and hello, yoga music lover. Welcome. Welcome back. Good morning. Good morning, Tosh Talks Life. Welcome to the channel. Welcome. What about people who constantly Santana 505? What about people who constantly compare you when they see you do better and they're asking you for help when they see you accomplish things, but they still constantly compare you? Well, those kind of people who always, once again, they speak in comparison mode. Those people are jealous and envious, because people who are actually on your side, they're on your team, they want to see you do well, they don't speak in comparison mode. They are happy that you are doing things that have you thriving and feeling good about yourself. A friend, a real friend, is not going to hear you say, I started a business, or I'm going to school, or I'm doing this, and automatically say, oh yeah, I did that too. It didn't really work out, but yeah, maybe it'll work out for you. Oh yeah, I just bought something like that. It's always the one up kind of thing. They're trying to one up you in some way. Insecure people are good for always trying to one up somebody else. And it just comes like an automatic. Like they can't just let you have it. And I'm not saying that anybody necessarily has to let you have anything. It's just simply, if they're your friend, they should be able to acknowledge if you're doing something great, or at least listen. They shouldn't feel some kind of way because you're sharing good news. They shouldn't feel some kind of way simply because you're happy in the moment. People who cannot handle other people's happiness are jealous, envious haters. There's no other way to say it. Like, if you can't handle another person's happiness, and I'm not saying that you might feel like, okay, you were wanting to get a house, somebody got a house before you. Of course, you're going to be like, dag, I'm trying to get a house for so long, and now they got a house. Good for them. But when is my turn? That kind of thing. I get that completely. We all have felt that. But a person who sees somebody accomplish something, sees somebody do something, and now you have a problem with that person, that's jealousy and envy, because you can't stand the fact that somebody else is happy in a relationship, happy in a new situation, happy in their new home, happy with themselves. You got some women, they're so jealous and envious of other women, they only feel good around other women who feel bad about themselves. It makes them feel elevated. It makes them feel high up to be around a bunch of insecure, low self-esteem having kind of women. You have some women who will only befriend other women who feel less about themselves. They can spot an insecure woman, like a woman they can sidekick, and they want to make her their friend. But the woman who has a little bit too much confidence, you're doing a little too much, you're saying a little too much, you're looking a little too good, they don't want to be bothered with you because you're going to outshine them. Show me the ones where they just feel down about themselves and I can play with their mind. But if you're a little bit strong-willed, they don't have time for that. Like, if your mind, like you're a well-rounded, strong-minded woman, and you're confident, and you feel good about yourself, and you're not going to let anybody play in your face, we can't be friends, because I can't manipulate you. I can't mold you into what I want you to be. I can't crush your confidence. You have women who are like that. They want low, and I'm not knocking women who are insecure or have low self-esteem. I'm just saying that when a woman has low self-esteem, she is more, inviting and appealing to a jealous woman. To a jealous, envious woman, like, she has to be around other people she perceive as being, a little bit lower than her, so she can feel like she's on the top, which is weird. Legendary Fair Use, peace. Welcome to the channel. 100% Tasha Talks. That's my mom. That's crazy. This is humanizing discussion. Thank you. Catrice Greer, you are absolutely welcome. Like and share the content. If you are here, I appreciate you all. Hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already done so. Share this content so we can build up this All Things Woman community, because I see a lot of your comments. I appreciate you. And I believe I'm making an impact here. We are all making an impact building our little community. So like the content, subscribe if you haven't already done so, share this content. KMN, this is triggering because my mom does a lot of this. I couldn't understand why for years we bump heads. And yes, this is for understanding. Now, this is what I don't want, because I'm going to put a disclaimer. When you get information from myself or anybody else, I still want you to assess your personal situation. I want you to look at your mother the way you would look at her before you heard anything else, and then assess the situation based on the advice you've gotten from me, from other people, and then make your decisions. Okay, because I don't want anybody like lashing out at anybody. I want you to make sound decisions based on the information that you get from me or other people. Just use wisdom and let it, guide you, appropriately. Okay. Especially when it comes to your parents, because we have to show our parents, even though they might be doing the most, still want to show them a little bit of grace, if you can do what you see fit, but if you can. Most people are disgusting. Sue Moncherie, I am so sorry you feel that way. I believe there are a lot of decent people here in the world, but there are absolutely a lot of wicked people, a lot of jealous, envious haters, especially amongst women, because we live in a society now where women are almost baited to be enemies, where women are baited to be against each other, where women are baited to always, be in some kind of competition. And when it's like that, it'll be very hard to build real lasting bonds, real sisterhood amongst women until everybody gets on the same page and see some of these things that a lot of women like to sweep under the rug. Like, we cannot be in unity and fakeness. Like, a lot of women like to be in unity and fakeness. And that's not just women, that's just in life in general. People are like vibing on this whole being cordial thing, but at what point does just being cordial lead to being superficial and fake? Like, we have to really get to the bottom root level of why certain things are the way they are in order to really build good relationships, especially amongst women. And as long as other women see other women all the time as their competition in every way, you will never see growth within the sisterhood, especially amongst, I have to say it, Black women. Because Black women are some of the hardest women, in my opinion, based on being a Black woman, to get along with a lot of times. And it's because I think it's our history, way, way back. And the history I'm talking about, we celebrate it in February, or we acknowledge it in February. Because of a lot of our history, we are always baited against one another. Like, we are always kind of programmed to look at each other as the enemy. I'm not saying all of us are like that, but it seems to be a thing, especially in our community. I don't like this. This is a little too straight. I'm getting rid of this. I don't like this. Ashanti Tomlinson, welcome. This is my sister-in-law. Every time when I would come in her presence, she would always try to dim my light, and it was so triggering being around her because she was just beyond toxic. Yeah, when another woman, and first of all, another woman cannot dim your light. When you are confident and you feel good about yourself and you're doing things and being certain ways for yourself, nobody can dim your light. No matter who you're around, no matter how they act, if you feel good when you walked into the room, you still feel good when you're in the room. If you look good and you are, just comfortable within yourself, your spirit is at ease, nobody can dim your light, no matter how much they try. But they could definitely agitate you. And people who are like that, they're insecure. It's almost like you have to pity them and say, oh, she don't know no better. Like, she don't even know what she's doing. She's talking like that. She's being overbearing. She's acting this way. It's the inside job. There's something wrong with her. People like that, you almost have to pity because they go so far out of their way to try to make other people feel bad about themselves. They are only highlighting everything that's wrong with them, and they don't even know it. Bleak, I haven't come across a good, genuine, I'm guessing, person in years, and that's unfortunate. Dumas G, welcome. My sister completely humbled me. Model agents took me in. She always acts as if I am not enough. None of my accomplishments, even speaking with billionaires, was never enough. And once again, for some people, they cannot handle the happiness of other people. And that's where you have to become content with what you're doing. And this is another thing with confident women. As I've said prior, we do not need validation from other people. You have to get comfortable accomplishing and winning in private, just enjoying your blessings, enjoying what you're doing, despite how other people feel and despite how other people treat you. Because as I've said before, some of your biggest haters will be your family members. It will be people who saw you at one level, and then when you elevate to the next, they can't handle it. So talking about certain topics with them might give them a sour taste in their mouth because they're not accustomed to seeing you being on that kind of level. They're not accustomed to seeing you doing those kind of things. And as far as in their mind, especially if a person is jealous and envious, they might have limited your potential. They might have underestimated you. And a lot of people, they get jealous and envious of other people because they simply underestimated them. There are some people who might have looked at you at one point like, that's just her, like she not doing much, she not about much, she don't say much, she don't do much, whatever, that's just her. And then when they see you doing things that are out of the ordinary for you as they perceive it, they can't handle it. They're like, where did this come from? Who is this? Who does she think she is? It's because they underestimated you. Jealous, envious people have a way of underestimating those whom they perceive as being less than. And then when you come up, by the grace of God, the way I see it, now they're a hater. They only like you when you're down because it makes them feel better about themselves. And that is not a person you want around you. My aunt, Lovely Doll, my aunt compares me to her daughter because she married with kids and I'm not. It made me so sad until I cussed her out. She been shading me since 2010. I had enough. Yeah, some people, some women, a man and kids become their entire identity. And this is from a woman who has a man and kids. And to some women, because they glamorize being married, glamorize being a mother. And I'm not saying that being a mother and being married is not a blessing, but it's not for everybody. And being somebody's wife is not an identity. Like, it's not your entire existence. Some women, they still have that mindset that the ultimate goal in life is that I'm going to become this man's wife, and that's your whole identity. And I can tell you, as a woman of being married almost 20 years this November, Lord willing, that you have to be more than just somebody's wife. Like, you're still a whole person on your own. So being married is wonderful. It's a blessing, but that's not like it doesn't come without its challenges. Even motherhood is an absolute blessing. Children are a blessing, but it doesn't come without its challenges. So women who operate that way, like, I don't understand. Like, I don't know, like, they pedestalize men. And that's one thing I just don't do, even though I believe I'm married to a decent man, but I don't pedestalize anybody. People are people, and people can cut up and act up when they want. And I still have to be me. I still have to be okay with me. Like, my husband is not my identity. And a lot of women who take men as their identity, they feel like they can shade women who don't have a man or don't have, the lifestyle or the family or whatever. Everybody's life looks different. Like, I don't know. I just never understood that. I guess I've been married so long. Well, I understand that, marriage is beautiful, but it doesn't come without its challenges. You're sharing your life with another person. Like, come on. I don't pedestalize any situation. 100%. Kayla Simon, is purposely ignoring someone a humbling tactic? Purposely ignoring someone a humbling tactic? I don't think it's a humbling tactic. I think it's a petty way of trying to get your attention. And if you really don't care about whether or not they're being quiet or not, then it might not work. But I think it's a passive aggressive way of trying to get your attention. Anytime somebody gives you the silent treatment, I think we all have given the silent treatment. Me, as a married woman, I have constantly given the silent treatment. It's a way of trying to get your attention, or you just don't care. So I wouldn't say it's humbling. B. Smith, yes, slavery has a negative impact on the Black individual's psyche. Absolutely. I believe it did a number. Miss Sheila, World of Fun, gotta go. I love y'all, beautiful queens. Thank you so much for stopping in. Thank you for stopping in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Ashanti Tomlinson, you're absolutely right about the marriage thing, because I am married myself, and you definitely have to have an identity of your own and not rely on your husband completely. Absolutely. A lot of women, kind of getting back to that empath kind of way of being. Earlier on, if my husband was in a mood, I would automatically feel that. His sour mood would sour my mood. If he looks down, I would feel down. If he seems like he's upset about something, I would feel upset. Now, if you're in a mood, it's not that I don't care. But if I ask you what's wrong and you don't say anything, that's on you. Like, I don't have time to pry things out of you. And this is a little bit of a sidebar, because this is just learning how to control your own emotions and not letting the emotions of other people impact you, especially if you are married, if you're in a relationship. You are still your own person. You care about them, but you can't let their emotions and their mood and attitude negatively impact you. Get busy doing something else. There have been many times where, I had to learn this over the years. It wasn't always like this, because trust me, my husband would have his moods and my whole day just went down because he's sitting there quiet, not saying nothing, just reading, whatever. And now I'm like, what's wrong? Trying to figure out. until I started saying to myself, you know what? That's a grown man. I'm going to the store. I'll be back. I'll be back. Let me know if you need anything. Text me. I'll text you. Like, whatever. I don't have time for that. As a woman, you just don't have time for that. It's passive aggressiveness. And if somebody wants to be passive aggressive instead of opening their mouth and telling you what's wrong, you don't have time. And in regards to jealous, envious people, they love to use that kind of toxic negativity because they want you to feel what they're giving off. And when you're unbothered and don't care, it doesn't work. But a lot of times as a woman, you have to lead up to being that way. In the beginning, especially if you're young, you kind of feel everything everybody's trying to put out. And sometimes it can work until you get tired of it and say, you know what? That's on you. Above Ruby's TV, Santana 505, taking your kindness for weakness. Absolutely. Above Ruby's TV, trying to get your attention or show you that you're not that important. I think it can be used as a humbling tactic. Everyone else thinks you're cool, but I'll ignore you to show you that I don't. In that regard, I get that. Yeah, I can see that. I can see somebody using it that way as well. And that's when you continue to be unbothered. It's more where that came from. It's like, and what I notice, especially with men, the less you care, the more they care. Even if you're in a long-term relationship, the less you show that you care about their mood, their attitude, the way they're acting, the more they care. I don't know why it's like that, but that's the way it is. The moment I act like I care too much about whatever my husband is going through, it's like they start, I don't know how to say it. It's like they know you're going to say something. They know you're going to try to pry. They know this, they know that. But when you get in the mindset of saying, you know what, I'm not saying nothing and I'm going about my business as it doesn't exist, now they're coming for you. Now they're asking you what you're doing. Now they're trying to be in your space. I don't know if that's some kind of reverse psychology or something, but that's literally from my experience, not just with my husband, but just men in general. The more you don't care about them or act like you don't care about whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying, whatever they're going through, the more they want to see what you're up to. So works for me. Emotional labor is dead. Absolutely. It tugs at your emotions. And the older you get, especially you don't have to be a mother, but especially if you're a mother, you will soon realize that you don't have that many emotions to play with. Like you can't afford to be spread so thin emotionally. Like you have to keep yourself mentally stable. And because of that, you don't have time to feel out another grown person and try to figure out their mood and attitude and what's wrong, why you acting like this. If you don't want to tell me, then I don't care. I love you. I care for you, but I don't have time for this. That's for anybody. Alicia, welcome. I think women who need to be married to have an identity is because they have deep-rooted low self-esteem or they have a shady past or still are shady. Maybe. Marriage is wonderful. I advocate for a woman to be married opposed to just being for the streets. I will say that. But don't get married because you're trying to make it your entire identity and you somehow see that as a badge of honor, as if now I'm missing Thurston Howell III. Like, it's not like that. I know social media have a lot of women thinking that, being married suddenly, like you are, being married is wonderful. Being a wife is wonderful. But the point I'm making is that just like with anything else, it comes with its challenges. Like, I don't know. I think social media sometimes distorts the view of marriage. Yeah. But this is not about marriage. But yes, I think women, okay. Tasha Talks Life. Yes, I just went through this husband this week. After 21 years, I didn't get this until about 10 years in the marriage. Yes, was hard because I'm an empath too, but God gave me the grace to move through. Absolutely. It's like sometimes when you're a wife, you cross that line into mothering your husband, trying to figure out why. It doesn't even matter. When he's ready, he will talk. He'll tell you. So they want to work to gain your respect. I believe that, S. Smith. Aaliyah, men do not get empathetic the way women do, but they will tug and pull and use dry if you let them. Absolutely, they will. Um, Men absolutely will. Even the most well-intentioned man, the more you put out, the more they will take, because you're showing that you just care so much that they just know, like, okay, I can act this way because she's gonna keep on coming at me. It's almost like you're chasing them, like the roles are reversed, and it's like, I refuse. No, no, no. Jealous women made me anxious, broke my spine, and dislocated my shoulder. Dumas G, that is so unfortunate. You had a physical altercation with a jealous, envious woman. Yeah, anytime you are, and as women, we have to see the red signs, red flags of things like this. Anytime a woman threatens to give you physical harm because she's jealous and envious of you, that is not a woman you need to be around. Jealous, envious women, they can be so jealous of you that they want to do you physical harm. I actually just did a video on that not too long ago. Jealous, envious women, they want to attack you physically. That becomes an issue. Yeah, you need to get away from people like that. Did you want to elaborate on that, Dumas G? What if you have K, amen? What if you have a distance yourself from toxic people? What if you have distanced yourself from toxic people and you don't badmouth them, yet you find out they put a smear campaign out about you to make themselves look like the victim? Oh, yeah. Jealous people will always be victims. People who do the most to other people always play the victim. That's just the way it is. People who know they're in the wrong, people who know that they are the problem, always play victim. And it's simply because they couldn't get over on you. When you are the type of woman who, like I said in my Chosen Ones video, you see through the BS, they cannot just play you however they want to. You're not just going to endlessly tolerate their behavior. They will automatically play the victim. They are gaslighters. They are professional gaslighters. Jealous, envious people, people who seek to manipulate you, they are professional gaslighters and professional manipulators, and they develop and carry that victim mentality. These are your people who will say things and do things to provoke you to wrath. And then when you get upset, they'll say you have no right to be upset. People like that want to be able to mistreat you in peace. And a confident, leveled up, feminine woman, a wise woman, does not allow people to mistreat them and mishandle them in peace. You call out the behavior if you have to, or you get away from them, but you do not tolerate it. And there are ways around it, especially when it comes to dealing with men who seek to manipulate and gaslight and act like victims when they are the problem. But that'll be for another live. That'll be for another video. Dreyfus, my ex-friend, me that my boyfriend is more of her type. What? Who says that? Yeah, you have women, stuff like that. The audacity sometimes of some women runs at an all-time high. How do you tell somebody that their current boyfriend is your type? See, that's one of the reasons why I really never got into the whole girl's girl clique kind of thing. As much as I see myself as a girl's girl, I was never the type of woman to hang out in these huge groups of women simply because of things like that. A lot of women, especially when they're jealous and envious, they want to take what you have. If they see you have a good man, if they see you have a man that's really into you and they like the way he treats you, do you think that they will want to be with a man who's like him? No, they want to be with him. They want to take him from you. Jealous, envious women always seek to take things that are not theirs, especially envious women. Envy is when you desire somebody else's. And a woman who has the audacity to tell you that your current boyfriend is her type, that's weirdo energy, and you have to watch her or distance yourself from her. Before the envious women get physical, it's always up and down in their speech. Absolutely. And this is where, I spoke about this in other videos where as women, we have to have discernment and not ignore those red flags. Sometimes we see different things, but we're always trying to give people the benefit of the doubt. So we overlook their toxic behavior, their negative little shade, things they say and do, because no, she didn't mean it that way. No, it's probably not like that. Like, I'm probably reading too much into this. If your intuition keeps telling you the same thing over and over again, believe it. If the Spirit of God is showing you something about somebody or a situation, believe it. So many of us put ourselves in harm's way at one point simply because we ignored all of the red flags that were right in our face. Generational curse breaker, welcome. I have neighbors who allow their children to harass me and my child because the mother is jealous of me. That's the most, those kind of things. And I grew up with that kind of stuff. The how can I say this? People, especially when you live in a more urban place, the hood, they like to watch people who don't move in the same kind of way. Especially, you might be in the hood, you might be living in the ghetto, as they say, or in the hood, or in an urban area where you have people. You might go to work in the morning or leave for the morning, and you see somebody sitting on the step, and you come back 8, 9, 10 hours later, and those same group of people are still sitting there. Those are typically your watchers, the ghetto neighborhood watch that watch everybody else's life, and they have something to say. They have something, they think something negative. They, take little pot shots. They're little baby kids. I don't know if you all know, maybe I'm aging myself a little bit, but baby kids out grunting and gritting on adults. I don't understand parents who allow their children to grit on and stare at adults in an intimidating way. Who does that? That's just like the street. That's just really how that is. Like, I tell you, and I tell you this not as a judgment, but because I have been exposed to it. Them little ghetto, they adopt the same mentality as the parents, where now you got mama and daddy gritting on you, and you got the kids with the snot running down their nose, looking out the screen door at you as you get into your car for work. Like the ghetto. Like, I can't. That just took me back. I'm sorry. Oh, Lord Jesus. I can't stand ghetto. I can't. Your child walking down the street, staring at a grown adult, looking them up and down like they can challenge them. Some of these people, some parents got to do better. Like, the example you're setting for your children, you're making your children ghetto because you're ghetto. You're making them ratchet because you're ratchet. Like, my children know. I don't care how mom feel about somebody. If you don't like them, I understand, because I never have my kids fake nice with anybody. But all that looking up and down, intimidation, like, I saw a clip of, I think it was Kanye West's daughter, North, Kim Kardashian. It's obvious that she's been telling this child too much of their business, because when they came into the event, I guess there was a lady sitting over there, maybe a cousin or auntie or somebody. She walked by, and North had her little hand on her hip and rolled her eyes at the grown person and walked over to her aunt, Chloe, I think it is. And Chloe even acknowledged, oh, I love the side eye. And, these are celebrity people, whatever. However, those little behaviors in children, especially young ladies, they can grow up to be bully minded, bully, jealous, envious, just bully energy kind of women if you don't nip it in the bud. A lot of women grow up to be jealous, negative bullies because they were negative, jealous little girls, and nobody ever nipped it in the bud. Nobody ever corrected their behavior and said, you're being too grown. Get out of grown folks' business. You're being too grown. You're doing too much. You're saying too much. Stop rolling your eyes at her. My mom has literally, she would tell me about certain people, certain things. She didn't like them. But then when we're in front of the person, if I even hit of a little attitude, she's like, fix your face. Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Because it was still a respect thing. Not a respect for the person, but just stay a child, that kind of thing. Young girls are not being taught that. And I know this is a little bit of a sidebar, but when you said about the family and even got the kids looking out at you, I know exactly what that's like because I've dealt with it earlier on. People will remote, will do? They'll, the word escapes me. They'll get their kids on board with the jealousy too. Put it that way. It's weird. Teaching your kids how to be little hood rats, to be a bully toward other adults. That's weird. And God forbid the adult person says something to the child. Now the ghetto mama want to fight. It's weird. That's the ghetto. Those kind of interactions you won't have unless you have lived in the hood, have lived in the ghetto. Unfortunately, I have had that experience. I'm going to be completely real with you. Facts on facts. Project raised all truth. Yes. S. Smith, I remember Baby Kids, and I'm old enough to catch the Gilligan. Yes. Yes. See, now I am in my 30s, but my mother had me watching Gilligan's Island. What was it? Laverne and Shirley, Mama's House. Was it Mama's House? I don't know. Golden Girls. Even the Beverly Hillbillies, all these other shows. My mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, Happy Days. My mom had me watching all of that. So yeah, you might hear some references like, wait a minute. Yes. Miss Henry, welcome. Welcome. Hello. K, amen. I hate to say this, but I'm glad hearing of others experiencing things, as I felt like I was the only one in this world dealing with this foolishness, and I didn't know how to cope. My environment. Absolutely, you are not. A lot of women, and this is why I started this community, because a lot of women are experiencing, have experienced, or maybe will experience these things. And it's important that you do not feel like you're alone. That thing about, parents teaching their children how to be bullies, how to be trying to intimidate adults. I bet you nobody ever thought to say anything because they're just like, why am I being gritted on by a 9-year-old? It's because ghetto mama is trying to use the 9-year-old as bait to wish you would say something so she could have an issue with you. Ghetto. I experienced that too, Alicia. Told me I was the problem once I moved away. I realized it was my environment. Yes, your environment a lot of times has a lot to do with the level of foolishness, envy, jealousy. You won't have envy and jealousy from people who are doing the same things as you or have the same goals as you. If you're in an environment where you're raising your kids up to be a certain way, you don't have to worry about your children getting bullied by, ghetto kids and the mamas in them, because you have a standard and you're around other people who have that kind of standard. And I'm on that because this is just a weird thing, but it happens. Baiting is prevalent. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jealous women will even send their daughters to try to pick with the daughter of the one that they're jealous of just to get something going. Once again, ghetto activity, but it happens. Miss Henry, I remember experiencing jealousy from a 3-year-old girl toward me and my daughter when she was 4 years old. I'm telling you, saying things like that, people might look at it like it's weird, but this is real. The parents transfer that negativity onto their children. It is very much a thing where now you're sitting around other kids who are looking down on you or thinking that you think certain things because the parents are telling them too much. We got to keep kids. That's a little sidebar from the humbling, but it starts. These women who are jealous, envious, bullies, they don't just automatically turn that way. A lot of women are taught this behavior from an early age. They sit around with their mom and them talking about other people, putting down other people who's doing nothing wrong to them. Oh, she got long hair. She thinks she cute. I actually heard somebody say, if somebody come along and cut their hair, what's she going to do? I hate her. And the mom is just laughing. Like, what? Haters. This stuff is very much real. Pee-wee jealousy. It's crazy. And you can't fault the children because it's learned behavior. If mom is not a girl's girl, if mom is a jealous, envious woman who's always giving a woman the skunk eye, can't accept compliments, don't even want to be around women who she perceives as looking better than her, it's going to be ingrained in the children too. That's just with anything, not just jealousy and envy. That's with anything. It's a learned behavior. Social media is making things even worse. Absolutely. Social media is great. I love social media for business. I love it to communicate with people and connect and form communities such as we're doing here. But a lot of social media is getting people too comfortable saying things to other people that they wouldn't dare say in person. People are getting too comfortable with their thumbs typing and saying and doing different things that they wouldn't dare say in person to another individual. I think on social media, other people forget that there's an actual human being sitting on the other side. And they say things and do things as if, they're talking to robots. Generational curse breakers. Should I ignore the children because I'm too grown for this? Well, absolutely. I mean, you can't go back and forth with a kid. I mean, it might be awkward, but you can't go back and forth with a child. And honestly, as a parent, and I don't care how this sounds, I shielded my kids from a lot of different things because I grew up around different types of children. I'm going to say it that way. And when you have children being raised by parents who have that street mentality, they start problems, they're troublemakers, they gritting on everybody, trying to bully and stuff like that. It's like, no. I've shielded my kids many a times. Like, no, you don't need to go outside right now, because we used to live in apartments, and right out front, it'd be a whole group of kids hanging out there. They would go out sometimes and do what they're doing, and they'd be okay. But then sometimes I can pick up on certain things like, okay, no, she gonna be a problem. Like, I don't have time for that. And I tell them, all right, y'all, come on in the house. Like, I'll make y'all some ice cream. I'll make y'all a smoothie. Come on in the house. Because it's like, no, I'm the kind of parent that don't believe they have to experience certain things in order to know about it. My kids don't have to experience being bullied and beat up by people to know that they're out there. They don't have to experience the fire to know that it's hot. I'm the warner. I'm the parent that's like, nope, been there, done that. You don't have to worry about it. I'll let you know. I'm sorry. Like, you don't have to experience everything. That's just the way I see it. Unfortunately, I had to experience a lot of things because my parents had their issues. My mom wasn't around the way she should have been because she was dealing with her own issues. My father was, they were not, I'm a millennial. I had a Gen X, I believe, parent, or whatever before millennial. So they pretty much left us to ourselves. So because of that, a lot I had to experience. But in today's age, my children, they don't have to experience things if I can help it. If they're aware, that's good enough. Mega Just Me 09. When I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to be around. Let me see. Sorry. I wasn't allowed to be around grown folks' business. I was either outside or in my room. Absolutely. Like, if I was even in the same room and I wasn't looking at TV or something, or looking at, whatever I was doing, and I was paying too much attention to how they were talking, my mom would turn around and say, why are you in grown folks' business? Why are you in my mouth? Go play. Go outside. And that's it. But today, the way the parents are today, not all parents, but some that have issues, they invite the kids into personal business. And the next thing you know, you got a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old looking at you the same way the mom is looking at you because they're in the business. Like, I don't understand it. Only recently, because my daughter's 17 years of age, did she sit around where we were having a grown folks discussion. And it's because she's 17, and even depending on what we're talking about, you don't need to be a part of this. You don't need to be a part of it. I had a generational curse breaker. I had an old hairstylist put a perm in my hair because she was jealous of my length. Now my hair is damaged. Yeah, the moment you saw that stuff coming toward you, you should have been like, nope, wait a minute. What you doing? What you doing? Wait a minute. Nope, I don't put that in my hair. I'm not opposed to relaxers. I'm just saying, if somebody does something you don't want them to do, you could have stopped. You should have stopped her. I would have stopped her immediately. Like, what are you doing? I have stopped a stylist many a times, especially when I would go to the Dominican hair salon to blow out my hair. Like, wait a minute, put this chi oil in. Thank you. Like, no. Amen. My mom would tell me to never stop giving access to my bullies, and what happened to me wasn't that big a deal, and still be friends with them because she was going to still be cool with them. Yeah, that's that old school mentality where it's like, you can't let them see this. Don't let them make you feel this. And I understand all of that. A little bit of that mindset made us stronger, but it also traumatized a lot of us too. because our parents were allowing us to deal with things that we didn't necessarily have to deal with. Like they normalized, not all of our parents, I'm just saying the mindset of parents back in the day is that the more you're subjected to the traumatic behavior, the stronger you will be. Actually, sometimes the longer the longer you're around that traumatic behavior, the more messed up you'll be. So it was kind of like that, trying to stand 10 toes down, be strong, don't let them think you're a punk, this kind of thing. And it's like, no, now we care more about our mental health, where it's like, okay, if I even get a hint that you're acting a certain way, no, you can't always run from somebody. Yes, sometimes you got to show people who you are. But when it gets to be too much, there's nothing wrong with walking away. And we weren't taught that. We were taught either you go out there and fight or I'm going to fight you. That kind of thing. Foolishness, street, ghetto. Have to say what it is. Nowadays, jealous people use acid attack. Yes, we were talking about that earlier on, about how people in the obsession with acid and all these different things. I don't even know how they're automatically getting access to these things. Not that I really want to know, but it's unfortunate the lengths people will go to when they're jealous. Aaliyah, I wasn't able to play outside in the hood. I didn't want to be with the ghetto-ness either. Yeah, and as I got older and I was able to move, how I wanted to, I took a job in a whole nother state. I would hop on the train and go to work after school just so I'm not right in that environment. So yeah, that's K, amen. We got too many generational curses that need to be broken. Broken mamas making carbon copies of themselves, raising broken daughters. Absolutely. I could not have said that any better myself. You have a lot of broken mothers who have warped, jealous mentalities. They have issues within themselves, and they're passing that trauma on to their daughters and wondering why, when the daughter becomes of age, now she's always in issues. Now she's always in drama. Somebody's always coming after her. It's because a lot of people, unfortunately, when it comes to young girls, especially back in the day where mental health really wasn't a thing, they're being taught that some of these toxic behaviors like bullying other women and being mean for no reason somehow is normal. Letting a woman, I say what I think. I ain't going to hold my tongue. Whatever I feel, I'm going to say it. No class, no decorum, no knowing time and place. And when a woman is like that, she will take issue with a woman who has discretion, which is an odd word. Nowadays, a lot of women don't use the word discretion because they don't have it. Not all women, but a lot of women don't have discretion. It's like, if I got it, show it. If I'm going to say it, however I feel is what it is. And what they're not understanding is that a lot of times they're putting their daughters in harm's way by not teaching them class and grace and decorum and how to control what they say and who they say it to. Some women are being raised up, young girls are being raised up to believe that everybody's going to take their mess. And my mother had a saying that, one day you will meet your match, meaning that what you give out will be given back to you. And a lot of young girls, unfortunately, find that out the hard way as they grow and see that mama might have tolerated your toxicity, but there are some grown women who are not fazed by how you try to bully or how you try to, talk with your chest. Like, there are some women who don't care about those kind of things. Like, they're still confident. The bullying, that's kind of like a defense mechanism for a lot of women. That over aggressiveness and the way they come at other women, a lot of times it's a defense mechanism because they're scared, because they feel insecure, because they don't feel good about themselves. It's just a defense. Join our membership. If you are not a part of the Feminine Elite group, I suggest and encourage you to join. I am going to be discussing more femininity topics, going live, talking about femininity topics over in the membership tab more often. So if you are not a member, join the Feminine Elite group. You will get a lot of good content over there, specifically about womanhood, how to carry yourself as a woman, femininity, among other topics. Alicia, I'm not perfect and nobody is, but I definitely don't condone this behavior. Absolutely. Yeah, nobody is perfect. You don't have to be perfect at all in order to not accept toxic negative behavior. Everybody has their moments. Everybody has their ways. But I'm talking about people who have a way, a mentality, a mindset of just being toxic, negative, and just get a kick out of putting other people down. That's what I'm talking about. Hey, ladies, is my comments visible? Just wanted to check. Present moments. Yes, I see this comment. Mega Just Me oh 09. It's so sad how some parents are dressing their young children up like grown folks. Oh, that's a whole different conversation. Aisha B, welcome. I noticed one of my girlfriends was always in a beef with other women. Then we finally had a fallout, and I understood why she was always in drama. Good thing I wasn't foolish enough to fight her battles. Oh, yeah. When a woman, sometimes women find themselves in drama all the time, you have to look and say, is it me? You know, if you are always the common denominator, it's like, is it you? And some people, especially going back to people who play the victim, they always want other people to believe that, you know, they're doing something to them. But when people don't want to tolerate their jealousy, envy, negativity, toxicity, or what have you, now they're a victim. So you really have to be careful of people like that too, who stir up issues. And then when you no longer want to deal with it, now they have a problem with you. Miss Henry, I remember women telling me, you are not all that. I consider myself an ambivert and I like my peace. If I discern chaos, I detach. I am the same way. And thank you. I don't know if it was you, Miss Henry, or somebody else who brought to my attention that actually I'm not an introvert, I'm an ambivert, meaning I enjoy my own company and I love to have my time by myself, but I can very much be around other people. I enjoy talking to other people. I do. But I love to be by myself too. And I need that moment to recharge. So yeah, I forgot ambivert. So I pretty much am that. I'm not really an introvert because introverts just don't feel like being bothered for the most part. Probably wouldn't be doing so much of what I'm doing now. But yeah, I'm an ambivert as well, Miss Henry. Present moment. Women, older women at work who miss their mark, love to cling on and block in weird way young women they can tell can become what she didn't. I've heard a lot about that too, how you have some older women who are jealous of younger women. And yeah, you can have all different reasons why they might feel threatened or intimidated because you reached a level where they are not yet at. There are many reasons. Above Ruby's TV. Yes. Shout out to the ambiverts. Absolutely. You have to think about that. Like, wait a minute. Like, I can see myself standing in front of a bunch of people talking about these things. Like, I have no problem doing that. But it's like after a certain amount of time, I'm like, okay, I just need to sit back and sip my coffee, sip my tea. I need to go take a shower and just unwind and relax and recharge. That's literally how I am. Like, I will go to events just so I can have the luxury of coming back and winding down. And that's the second event for me. Like my night routine and just winding down. Miss Caribbean, welcome. Welcome to the channel. I don't see your comment, but welcome. But yes, women who are jealous and envious and want to humble you, once again, they dig into your past. It's amazing how many women, when they're jealous and envious, they become like a private investigator. They start knowing things about you that you didn't even know about you. I have heard of situations where women, during family functions, they gave out dark family secrets where the person didn't know who the father or whatever was, and they took that opportunity to put on blast the information about the woman simply because she wanted to hurt her. She told a deep, dark secret simply because she wanted to hurt the woman. This woman wasn't hurting nobody. Her life was going relatively well. And she took that as an opportunity to discuss that family secret. You have jealous, envious women who would dig so far into your closet, they will go into your mom's past history to find something out that they perceive will make you look bad. You have people who are like that. They will dig into your childhood looking for things to use against you now. It's very weird. Hi, April. Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Good afternoon. I appreciate the balance here about jealous women and men. Oh, absolutely. Because men, yes, I agree. And I didn't answer so much so earlier on because, you know, when I get on my topics, I like to stay on my topics. But I understand, and I never disagreed with the idea that men are just as jealous, if not more so, than women. And I have to say this, and this is not a political conversation whatsoever. However, if you ever wanted to see an example of toxic bully energy, it might not be jealousy, but it's definitely toxic bully, mean girl type of energy. The person we have in office right now is an absolute mean girl. He displayed mean girl toxic energy, bully energy toward President Zelensky. I don't know if any of you saw that address with Trump and Zelensky, but I saw it and I felt so bad for the president of Ukraine, Zelensky. And it made me think like, this is not jealousy, it's not envy, but it's definitely bully, mean girl mentality. And that was a perfect display of how a lot of women and men can act like straight up bullies and mean girls and try to put down or knock the one who's coming to them for help. That is not a kick you while you're down moment, but that is exactly what Trump did. He knocked down Zelensky while he is down. He actually, and you have people in his cabinet, you can't wear a suit, much like a jealous woman, worrying about the wrong things. This man's country is in war. He's dressed like a soldier for battle with his country. He's going to fight with them like a man. And they're talking to him about a suit. Jealous, envious haters operate that way too. They focus on the wrong things. He came to them for help, and Trump took that as an opportunity to belittle and berate him. If that ain't a hater, I don't know what is. And this is not political. I'm not talking about Republican, Democrat, whatever your political views are. I'm talking about the interaction itself. That was mean girl bully behavior. And a lot of women operate the same way, focusing on the wrong things. You could be talking to a woman, you could be talking to her about something you're accomplishing, much like it was a video I saw where a young lady graduated from becoming a lawyer. She's a lawyer now. And the person focused on the wrong things. The woman was so jealous and focused on the wrong thing, asked her, where'd you get your dress from? She said, from Kohl's. The lady did research on the computer about the dress and found out they had it in TJ Maxx or somewhere else too. She said, you didn't have to lie about your dress. That's not the point. You're focused on the wrong thing. Same way with Trump, focused on the wrong thing. Did you say thank you? Did you at least do this, at least do that? Who has times for pleasantries when they're in the middle of war? Hater. Yeah, I didn't like that. And yes, I'm American. Yes, I stand with America. However, you don't kick somebody when they're down. That's a bully move. That's mean girl energy. And I would love to have the kind of composure that Zelensky had. He was so composed. If you want an example of masculinity, this is a little bit of a sidebar. If you want an example of masculinity, and I say this respectfully to my husband, President Zelensky, he is that. He is a masculine man. He stood his ground. He didn't raise his voice. He kept his composure. He didn't worry about wearing a suit. He wore his comfortable war clothes because they're in war. He's there about business, and he stood on business. He even corrected Trump when he tried to say that, everything's burnt down. Everything is horrible. And he said, no, we're still going to school. We still have businesses. Like, don't make it seem like the whole country is destroyed completely. Like, we're still living our lives. And he said it in such a confident but low tone. He was masculine and standing confident. So that is an example, respectfully, of masculinity. He was able to control his emotions even under attack from mean girls. I have to say exactly how I perceived it. I felt bad for him, but he was like, no. He's like, I didn't wear a suit. He said, and this man, this is just a little bit of a sidebar on this because I felt some kind of way about that. This man, they don't know, he was an actual celebrity in his country. So I'm sure he has a whole lot of suits. He has a lot of nice things. Once again, it's not about that. They didn't come there for that. And much like how Trump did him, is how jealous, envious women will do you. Focused on the wrong things. It was crazy. Nancy Wilson, welcome. Good afternoon. He was so classy. Absolutely. A man can be classy, Poised and masculine. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Facts. He is an alpha man and a leader. Absolutely. I've never seen a president actually dress for war with the people. Like, men, that's what we want. Like, we want somebody that's like, that's the kind of demeanor, that masculine demeanor. That's the way you're supposed to be. He can smile when he met the president. Because I follow politics a little bit, if you haven't noticed. I'm not all caught up in it, but I do follow it. When he met the prime minister, I believe, of one of these countries he just went to. He greeted him, they shook hands, hugged, he's smiling, but he's still standing on business. He's seeking aid for his country. And he had to deal with a buffoon like what we have in office. And I'll give you this. I'm not for or against Trump, because first term Trump, I think he had kind of good ideas, but he missed the mark. This second term Trump, I don't know what he's doing. He just got an agenda. He's going after everybody that's looking into things, dismantling things that has nothing to do with nothing. And he's doing it just because he can. Much like people who are on an ego trip and have that bully mentality, they just do things just because they can, because they got to prove something. I'm telling you, it all ties in. He might not be jealous, but that bully envy, that bully mentality, that bully energy, that was a perfect example, in my opinion. How are you destroying the Department of Education? For what? Why? I don't understand. So the dumber people are, the more they'll put up with you. Just doing stuff. Elon Musk, he shouldn't even be up there talking. Like, the rocket you just sent up exploded. Fix the flaws. Like, I don't know what you're doing. I think I'm going to start a political channel too, because I have a lot to say about these things, but I don't think this audience will really be interested. Maybe let me know. But yeah, Zelensky, the point being, that's an alpha male. Like, he's in battle, and he's showing you that he's in battle. So much so that he humbled himself, and he kept touching him. He touched him 3 times, tapping him like, no. Even me, he would have only had one time for me to say, don't touch me. Like, what are you doing? Like, why you keep touching me? Yeah, he dealt with that gracefully. Bless one, right. I hate how they made him the ungrateful bully when they bullied him. Absolutely. I'm like, how was he bullying? How was he doing anything? I don't understand. And JD Vance, he got upset simply because Zelensky corrected him when he tried to say something. I forget exactly, but he corrected him. Bullies don't like when you call them out on their behavior. They want to say whatever they want to say to you, and you just take it. And he wasn't doing that. He said, no. No. I don't want this to become a political conversation, but that bully energy that I talk about amongst women, I mean, it was displayed so perfectly in the White House that day, focusing on the fact that he didn't have a suit on. Like, who cares? His country is in war. He's here talking to you, looking for help. And instead of helping and being gracious, you want to kick somebody while they're down. That's exactly what bullies do. I mean, much like jealous, envious men and women alike. They might see you going through something, and instead of trying to be there to encourage you, they're like, okay, got her. This is my time to come after her. Got her. At her lowest moment, I'm going to make her feel even worse. No. And as confident women, you have to not let people do that to you. Thankfully, he didn't let them do that to him. He just went on to the next country. I think actually, and what he's trying to do, what I've heard, is that they don't really want to have to depend on America so much anymore. So Europe is trying to gather together so that they can just get us out of the equation. Much like what a confident woman would do. Like, if y'all going to treat me this way, I'm not doing all of this. I'll create my own thing. I have options. And I think right now they're trying to make America an option. Like, we don't have to deal with this. Like, we can work together to make some things happen. Yeah, very disrespectful, S. Smith. I was gaslit online by a hater saying that I'm not marriage material, mind you, coming from a female that was legally married and committed adultery. I don't listen to nobody that cheats on their spouse. I don't. There's nothing you can tell me about marriage. I'm not saying people don't make mistakes, fall short, none of that. I'm saying if you have like the open marriage, you can't tell me nothing about marriage. Like, I'm not listening to you. Anybody who's supplementing their marriage with somebody else, what can you tell me about having a healthy marriage? You can't. Musk was in the Oval Office a week prior with a t-shirt and jeans. I thought about that. I'm like, hypocritical. He was in the Oval Office with a t-shirt and jeans on with his son standing there and nobody batted an eye. But this man comes in looking like a soldier and you'll have an issue because he don't have a blue suit on, the same navy blue, boring looking suit that you all wear. I don't understand. He looked respectfully good to me. Okay. He looked like a man that came to take care of business. Clowns. Loretta Toombs. I have been tried plenty of times with the bully energy, but I don't play. I give that same energy back. Loretta Toombs. Absolutely. You know, there's a time to give that energy back, but I did a video about matching energy where feminine women, we just cannot match energy constantly. We just don't have time for it. It becomes very draining always matching somebody's energy, especially when it's negative. It's best to just remove yourself, the way I see it, if you're going to maintain your peace. Loretta Tubes says Zelensky is fine too. I mean, I don't want this conversation to take that turn, but you know, the eye sees what it sees. I'm like, all right. I thought that was respectful. He didn't wear a suit while his country, absolutely. Like, well, how does it look that his country is at war and he comes there with a 3-piece suit, you know, thousands of dollars suit and shoes? Like, no, this is a time where he has to look like the situation. He needs help here. You're right. Infinite Redbone, you're right. I've been married for 18 years from 21 to 40, and you have to keep your relationship with God first. Absolutely. Jealous people are walking hypocrites, in my opinion, Miss Henry. Absolutely. Facts. I just said that. How are you claimed to have self-esteem for women as you're cheating with a married person? Doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Like, anytime somebody messes around with something that's not theirs, that's nothing but insecurity. Any person, and I don't care how this sounds, if anybody is comfortable being somebody's side chick, side piece, that's nothing to be happy about. That means you're okay with being somebody's sloppy seconds. I don't get that. I'm not nobody's seconds. That's nothing. Like, we don't glorify side chickism and supplementation of spouses and all that. If you open your marriage, that just means that you don't feel confident enough in what you have to offer that you can hold him down without him going elsewhere. So you just go open it up ahead of time so that way you can justify it. No, I don't play the sloppy seconds and sharing and all that. That's weird to me. I'm 56 years old, can pass for a 40-year-old when my hair dyed. Okay, Nancy Wilson, absolutely. Loretta Toombs, good. You said I don't do it constantly. I'm assuming so I match your energy. Good. Good. You shouldn't. That's just my opinion. Absolutely. Yeah, matching energy, there is absolutely a time for it, but yeah, dig in and pitch. He is. At Loretta, it is the masculine energy that is attractive. Absolutely. I think every man needs to sit back and watch that video of his interaction with Trump and see how he handled himself. He didn't get up and say, yo, bro, you got one more time to touch me. He didn't do any of that. He answered the reporters, you know, and yes, he's a politician, but he wasn't always in politics. He was a celebrity. So yeah, that's a lesson in masculinity right there. I say that respectfully. Because I think some men, they would have got up and left. They'd have been punched him, you know, laid hands on Trump and things. But he didn't do any of that. They would have cut the cameras, said, I'm leaving. None of that. He wasn't so desperate for help that he wasn't going to answer him correctly. Miss Jackie J, good morning. I'm in my early 60s and my neighbor's an older woman, and I feel like I'm being stalked by monitoring spirits because they constantly watch in my car and my comings and goings. That is unfortunate that people have so much time on their hands to watch you. Dachel Miles, you think Trump was jealous? No. As I've said, this wasn't an example of jealousy. This was bully, mean girl energy. Trump is not jealous of Zelensky. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that he was operating as a mean girl. He was operating from bully energy, much like jealous, envious women do. He was carrying that mean girl, bully type of energy toward him. And that's exactly what it is when you come after somebody that's coming to you for help and you use that as an opportunity to belittle and put them down. That wasn't about jealousy. That was about being a bully. I stopped being friends with someone that was dating a married man. Loretta Toombs, yes. Sometimes, people, their life is their life. But sometimes, the people you associate with, some people might perceive that as being a reflection of yourself, depending on how close you are to them. Yes, certain things I don't do, and I don't want to hang around with certain people who do those kind of things, Happy March, Angie Powell. Welcome. Infinite Redbone. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. So yes, Trump is not jealous of Zelensky. I want to make that very clear because I know the internet likes to be confused. I'm not saying Trump is jealous of Zelensky. I'm saying he was acting very much like the jealous mean girl, not the jealous mean girl, the bully mean-spirited girl who came and kicked the other person when they're down. He was not jealous. I will not be any married man's side piece. Absolutely not. A lot of women like to get together, sidebar, with married men, in my opinion, because the man is already built up. Like, husbands are different than like boyfriends. Their mindset is different, especially a decent man. And instead of women putting in the work with a man, they just want to take what's already built. Some women do, in my opinion. Marsh Bonnie, hi, welcome to the channel. Welcome to the live. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Share the content. How to Be a Feminine Woman, the Blueprint. We have those books at our Amazon store. So How to Be a Feminine Woman, the Blueprint. It will be in the link of the description box here. Girl on Girl Wars, a book on jealousy and envy amongst women. I have that book as well. How to Detox from Toxic People. Get the book. We also have merch in our shop. So look into that as well. Like and subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Share this content so we can build up this community. What other topics would you all like me to talk about? At this point, I want to start taking some requests. What live topics would you like to talk about in the future? Live chats. I'm going to start doing that more often. Marsh Bonnie. So jealousy can't be prevented. Nancy Wilson, I respected married couples and their marriages. Absolutely. Blessed one. Unfortunately, neighbors are operating out of demonic spirits. Yeah, anytime somebody has time on their hands to just watch and plot on other people, that is negative. That is wicked, in my opinion. Absolutely negative, in my opinion. Oh, I didn't know you had a book. So the books are linked in the description of the channel, and they are also in the description of all of the videos. So if you would go into the videos, you'll see the description there with the links. I will also leave the links in the description of this video, this live chat as well. You enjoy live chats. If you like live chats, just put hearts in the comment section. If you want me to do more live chats, just let me know by putting hearts in the description. I'm planning on buying some of your books once the live stream is over. Wonderful, Nancy Wilson. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And just thank you to you all who have gotten value out of the content, out of the books. I see all of your reviews. Thank you for the cash apps. You all have blessed me tremendously. So I thank you so much for that. I'm so glad you're getting value out of the content. More lives. Wonderful. I'm going to start doing a lot more live chats because I feel like I could talk about a lot more things during the live chats than the video, and people are going to stay on a lot longer during the live chats opposed to a video. So, and I get to respond back and forth to you all, which I absolutely love. I'm going to be having a live webinar soon, so be on the lookout for that. Bless one. Okay, doing it now. I never check links. That's all right. And I'll also post the links to in the community tab of the videos as well, or in the community tab of the channel. I'll post the links there too. Join the membership if you had not already done so. Some more live chats. All right. So I'm going to be doing a lot more live chats because I have a lot to say about a lot of things. So I appreciate you all. Could you do a live on jealous people that are jealous of you when they have more than you? Oh, yes. I think a lot of the videos I've already touched on that in a way, because it's not just about material possessions, but I will get into that as well. I love your live chats when I don't miss them. Wonderful. So I'm going to be doing a lot more live chats, but I appreciate you all. I'm going to wrap this up because I am getting a little hungry. I've only had coffee, so I'm going to do that and relax until time to pick up my children. I'm going to go into the community tab and post our latest video as well as the links to the books. Share this content with other women if you have not already done so. We have playlists. I have podcasts, so you can watch that where you can just hit the play button and just let it play out. A lot of you have expressed to me that you listen to this while you're doing your errands or doing your chores around the house. So I appreciate you all. Some of you have used this as your affirmations. So, I am tremendously blessed and thankful for this community. And I'm so glad that I am helping you all and you are helping me and encouraging me to keep going. So thank you so much for this. Can moms be jealous of their daughters? Absolutely. I have a whole video on that topic. Look through the videos. There are a lot of videos on the topics that you all asked me about. How to level up spirituality. Oh, I can do a video on that. I can do a live chat on that. Absolutely. Great channel. Thank you so much, Marshabani. Thanks for the engaging. Yes, jealous moms, usually narcissists. Yes. So there are a lot of videos on a lot of these topics, but I will be going live a lot more. So stay on the lookout for that. Purchase the books. I enjoy talking with you all. Thank you once again for the cash apps. I got a few. If I hit the heart back, it's because I'm just getting into knowing how to respond to the cash apps with an actual message. But I am very thankful. You know who you are, who sent the cash apps. Thank you very much for that. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I will leave the links to the books in the community tab and leave it as well in the description box of this live. All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.